Counter-Strike is an incredibly complex game with really hard mechanics and a super high skill ceiling. Part of that skill ceiling is knowing how to make an engagement easier for you. One way to do this that I don't see a lot of people doing is turning two angles into one. Let me show you exactly what I mean. I see a lot of CTs holding for someone to push out balcony like this, waiting for someone to push into apps here. And while this is a really great angle for anyone pushing off of apps, you're essentially gambling a 50-50 if they come up lane or not. So if you're sure they're in apps, while this angle is very possible, maybe if you have less information, a smarter angle to play might be right here, where if they push up lane, your crosshair's in a ready position, and if they push out apps, all you have to do is flick right up. This is one example of turning two angles into one. It essentially minimizes the distance that you have to move your crosshair to be winning these engagements. Now, another example of this might be if you're holding arches. You can hold if they push out mid and boiler with the same crosshair placement. Now, of course, you don't want to be holding these angles every round because Counter-Strike is also about utilizing a bunch of different positions that you're comfortable with to throw off your opponent's expectations. But if you're not utilizing angles like these, you're often missing out on a key component of Counter-Strike. A couple more examples of this is if you're holding for a CT push. You can hold if they're coming through library, or you can hold if they're coming through this archway. I see a lot of people trying to take angles like this or holding here when they can be holding two different angles at once. Maybe the terrorists have planted on B site and you're waiting to hold some exits. You don't want to be peeking an angle like this where they could peek you from right here, or they could peek you from back church. This unnecessarily complicates your engagements. A better angle to hold might be behind this pot using this little lip to give you a really nice headshot angle, and if anyone's pushing church and or lane, they're going to be running right into your crosshair. Or another example of this is you can really just fall back even further. You can maybe play up here, hold an angle like this where it's pretty unlikely that they're going to push up here, and if they do, you likely hear it, and you can essentially just actually funnel these two different positions that they could peek you from down into this one alleyway and give yourself less to worry about. Versus if you're holding an angle like this, well, yes, it's an off angle and you can have some pretty nasty angles. You're worrying about two different places that they can push you at the same time. I see so many people of so many different levels doing this. Stop unnecessarily complicating your game. Counter-Strike is a hard game already, and you don't need to make it any harder on yourself. And if you're looking to make Counter-Strike easier for you, then I got a bunch of other videos just like this to help you out, alright? That way, you can hit Global Elite and Faceit level 10 with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this makes you think a little differently about the way you're going into your games and the angles that you're holding. And I got a bunch more content coming soon. So if you enjoyed the video and I made you think a little differently, then be sure to drop me a like and a sub if you feel so inclined. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.